ladies and gentlemen, today we have the last dream speech of 2013 by a Gadhari participant who is an orange and a red uncle, a real fiery, persistent, charismatic, and a driven doer with a fascinating life story. Please welcome Olutayo Ajai from Nigeria.
There are 100 million street children in the world as of 2005. This number has increased steadily. In Nigeria, like everywhere else, most street children are unemployed and beg on the streets. They are without basic human necessities and they resort to social vices like extorting innocent passers-by, gambling, prostitution, and drugs. Also, they are involved in different dangerous activities like political thuggery, truancy, scavenging, and attempts to travel abroad through illegal means like stowing away on ships.
I once was on a boat to stow away to Europe, like you just saw. And I once had the horn and the alarm of ship, like you just heard now. When I heard, I was shocked. What's happening? Are they aware of our presence? Is the ship's crew, do they know that we are here right now? Well, I was still thinking, one of my colleagues shouted, come down, we have to get out of this place. The captain knows we're here. I jumped down into the boat and we made for shore. On our way to land, we were accosted by the marine policemen. They arrested us and took us to their barracks, where we were flogged and beaten very well. After the beating, they asked the boat driver to go and use the engine of the boat and bring it to land. I volunteered to go along with him. He knew that if he removed the engine, it's going to cost him a lot of money to get his boat back onto the sea. So instead, he said, will you run away? Why not? I want to escape. So we started running with the boat. The patrol boat was radioed in and a pursuit ensued. Close to the next island, the boatman jumped into the water. I followed suit. By the time I got to land, there was nowhere to be found. He is a local, he could find his way in the dark. I looked around and found a small crevice in the wall, and I crawled in. I could hear the faint feet of the policemen as they disembarked from their boat, coming to the land to look for us. I was scared. But at this moment, lying where I was, I started a reflection. Is this my life? Is this my dreams and ambitions? All the thoughts, all the ambitions, all the plans I have for my life, is this where it's going to end? Is Nigeria, my country, so horrible that we the citizens have lost hope in our nation? Is this not the same Nigeria that people come in daily to invest and to make wealth and cast away? Why should I run? I won't run. I will stay and face this monster that's chasing my brethren and myself out of the country. With these new thoughts and new ideas, I silently pray to God that the pigs are not flesh eater, that since I have chosen to follow a new path of my life, He won't allow them to eat me for food. The next morning I went back to the streets with a new desire to do something else. And I began to think of what I can do to effect a change in my nation and in my generation. There are an estimated 1.5 million children living on the streets in Nigeria. 10% of this number are in Lagos. That is, ladies and gentlemen, 150,000 children living and working on the streets of Lagos. So many issues have brought these children to the streets. Problems at home, unemployment of one or both parents, death of one or both parents, peer influence, poverty, and the likes. There are some NGOs working in Lagos with the street children, and the government has some programs as well. But the way I see it, they are trying to mainstream the children back into the society from which they ran away from. An example. Imagine a child who dropped out of school and left his home for the streets, being repackaged, taken back home, and sent back to the same school, only for him to drop out 2 months later, thereby creating a cycle that goes nowhere. My organization, HIVE Initiative, is not interested in mainstreaming the children. Instead, we believe every child has within the innate potential and ability to excel. And we want to help to nurture these potentials into making them a complete individual. Talking about potentials, what potentials do street children have? I have a video to show you.
My name is Ravi. Questo paone è muy bonito, guardate lo scalo, 50 rupias. Questo muy bonito. Compra este paone no mucho caro, €1, $1. Chinese ni homa ilu pongcho ma usho lubi. Japanese ko jakune pera no taka ko dan gochur pini ko nechi dorune. Russian ni khachu ni nuzna school ka. Adin dollar pisa to pli calling kharosho. French bonjour sir should be most last second please line no. And Germany wunderbar zwischen pound für 9 down ko should take 9 down ko should $9 €1. English, hello sir, you want walking Indian air condition? Indian price only 50 rupees. Like you take it out of money. I never was client selling only here every day.
The whole time?
Whole time.
I lived on the streets of Lagos on and off for 8 years. And I know very well the qualities these children have to develop in order to survive on the streets. A friend of mine who has had me speak about my plans for street children introduced me to Kantari. And when I got to Kantari, I met Ojo, who spoke to you earlier some minutes ago. He wanted to teach blind people how to keep bees. And I thought, if blind people can keep bees, why not street children too? Instead of training these children in activities that are saturated, where there's no job for them to do, why not take on this eco-friendly and innovative idea to bring it into the lives of the street children? I researched because I believe in this. I didn't just take beekeeping for the sake of taking it. And out of my research, I made some findings of the similarities that street children and bees have in common. Bees, on one hand, have their natural habitats being destroyed, but they are very important for the continued existence of humans on this planet through the pollination of flowers. Street children, on the other hand, are lying on the margins of society today, yet they are potential leaders of tomorrow. Bees are social insects. They live and work in the colony. Street children, like we just said, are social too. They live in packs and groups on the streets. The bees have the queen bee as the leader of the colony. Every pack of street children you find on the streets have a leader who is leading their cause. Bees, if well kept, produce honey. The life of a street child can bring forth good things if well channeled. Bees sting, and I tell you, street children do sting too if you step on your feet. To think of it, HIVE initiative wants to bring these two seemingly incompatible elements together for a good cause. Bees on one hand with street children will create a new environment for the bees where they can live and survive and continue their work for humans on this planet. And will create an economic activity for children on the streets that will give them dignity and the right to take their own lives in their own hands. I am not a beekeeper, or rather, I was not a beekeeper. But because I believe in this, I spent 6 weeks of my internship at Bodela Kiruvala, where I learned every activity involved in beekeeping. I have a video to show you today. The HIVE Initiative Program is a 12-month-long program where we will take 25 children from the streets between the ages of 12 to 18. We will take care of their basic and medical needs because they have medical needs coming from the streets. We'll give them literacy skills that includes how to learn to read and write in the English language, IT skills, and non-violent communication. We give them livelihood skills through farming and the processes involved in beekeeping and honey processing. And then we give them basic business administrative skills that will enable them to make a venture out of these skills they learn. Finally, we get basic business loans for them that will enable them to start their own enterprises and become employers of labor instead of going back to the streets. And I say, few years down the line, when I look into the future, what do I see? I see street children, former street children, becoming independent and taking care of their own needs. I see former street children starting their own enterprises and becoming employers of labor. I see former street children, graduates of the HIVE Initiative Project, coming together to form a forum where they will become mentors and role models to children back at home and on the streets. And I see a brighter, greener city of Lagos with plants and flowers made possible by the increase in pollinative activities of white bills. Thank you very much.